Jim Pillen is ordering all public employees to return to the office. It was an executive order today. He said public servants who have been working remotely since the start of the pandemic have to go back to the office at the start of next year. The order does allow people to work from home under certain circumstances, such as people who have moved to other areas of the state or areas where there is critical job shortage. Pillen says the move is to give Nebraskans access to public agencies on Mondays through Fridays.